All right, Leaf fans, welcome to Free Agent Frenzy on the page. And holy smokes, I got 4 videos for you guys coming up. I'm going to start with this one, which is the Chris Tanev deal. We'll then go probably to the Oliver Ekman-Larsson signing. Then we will go to Joseph Woll's extension, and then we'll wrap it up with a mini one on Matt Murray. All right, so let's start off with the biggest one. The one once the trade happened, we all kind of expected it to get done. And that is Chris Tanev. I want to say re-signing, but he's signed with the Toronto Maple Leafs a 6-year contract worth $4.5 million. Now, before we get into all these signings, I got to preface this. Leaf fans, we get angry a lot, okay? And it was funny. I looked on social media and there was one tweet that I saw. I was like, is everyone yelling about the Chris Tanev and OEL signings because they hate them or just because they're pissed at the Leafs, just because they're the Leafs? And I saw most of those replies, most of those mentions were that they're just pissed at the Leafs. And I'm like, wow, is that where we're at now? Like, it's pretty bad. Now, let's get into this. Let's get into Chris Tanev being a Toronto Maple Leaf and what he is going to bring to this team moving forward. First things first, he ain't getting you much offense. That's not his game. That's not the way he plays. But what he will do is literally everything you want to keep the puck out of your own net. He's a great penalty killer, and we know how awful that penalty kill last year was for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and how every time, like, what did we talk about in that playoffs against Boston, even though you lost it? Stay out of the freaking box. Stay out of the box because your PK is terrible, and their power play is great, and it's just a disaster waiting to happen. But you bring in Chris Tanev, who will literally lie in front of shots with his face. Now, yes, he's a little bit of an injury-prone player at times, that is for sure. But isn't every defenseman who blocks shots like crazy? He's a right shot, which is phenomenal. And the biggest part for me is that I would be baffled if he doesn't start alongside Morgan Rielly on that top unit. So with that being the case, what does that mean for Morgan Rielly? Now let's go back a few years to when they acquired Luke Schenn. When was Morgan Rielly at his best? With Luke Schenn on his right side. Also, remember Morgan Rielly had a 20-goal season. Who was on his right side? Ron Hainsey. What do those guys have in common with Chris Tanev? They're both guys who don't try and get offense going. They're great defensively, and they're a right shot, or I guess Hainsey was a left shot, but regardless, veteran guys who are just sound like that. Now, TJ Brodie was great with Rielly for quite some time. But then this past season and the latter part of the year before, things weren't great and they started to fall apart for TJ Brodie. So you bring in a guy like Chris Tanev to play alongside Morgan Rielly to allow him to do more of his. I'm excited, man. I'm really excited to see what that pairing has in store for us. And a 6-year deal, people are going to start losing their freaking marbles about that. Let's relax, because the last year, 2 years, maybe 3, I don't know. We'll see. Could go on LTIR. Matt Murray's LTIR stuff is gone. I believe your LTIR space is completely empty. I could be wrong. There might be one in there somewhere. I could be wrong. But regardless of that, there ain't much. You have the space, so do it, right? That's the whole point of it. The Leafs have the money to do so. They don't care. So they get him for that 6th year just in case, right? There you go. Fine. I don't care. But I'm just ecstatic to see the next. And aren't we trying to win in the now? So who cares about year 5 or year 6 by then? By then, Matthews is going to be in his, 32, 33 season. And at that point, you're in a weird spot. So this is the now. So getting Chris Tanev here is a very good sign for the Leafs. It helps Morgan Rielly out. It'll obviously help your D-core out. And of course, it'll help your penalty kill. You can't be mad. And he's making 4.5. What did TJ Brodie make when he came? It's very similar, isn't it? 4 mil, 4.5, 5, in that range. So I'm totally fine with it. I love the signing of Chris Tanev, but I'm not going to talk too much longer because we had a lot of things to discuss. So I'm going to wrap this one up here. If you haven't done so already, hit the subscribe button and join the family. Hit that like button if you guys enjoyed the video. Hit the subscribe button as well. Comment down below your thoughts on the video, your thoughts on Chris Tanev being a Leaf for the foreseeable future. All that stuff down below. Twitter, Discord, Instagram, TikTok, all that stuff is down below as well. So follow up there if you haven't done so already. And I will talk to you guys Jays Edition, as they start their Canada Day game very shortly, so we'll see how that one goes against the Houston Astros. No Vladdy today on Canada Day. Gotta love that. Anyways, and for the Toronto Maple Leafs, talk to you guys very shortly as we're trying to rip through all of these signings by the Buds.